Welcome to 2x4 Hardcore, Episode 9, Q&A 2. Hey guys, so today I'm actually joined by a guest star, and we're going to be talking about a bunch of different topics. One of the topics is about the Order and Chaos community, about the forum, and a couple of other topics.
I play on the Whispering Island server on the US side. I am the GM of the guild World of Chaos. We've been around a while. We're just a pretty big social guild, not really a dungeon guild or a hardcore guild or anything like that, just a group of friends.
Alright, so this is a Q&A episode. So basically, I'm just going to ask questions, and I'm going to give my opinion, and he's going to give his. So the first question is, what are your thoughts on the Order and Chaos community these days? Why has the amount of people in-game gone down? I think the community used to be a lot more active.
I've got to agree with that.
I remember when the Arcadian Forest server was listed as having a high player base, and all the other servers were listed as medium. And even though there wasn't any endgame content then, people had a lot of fun and logged on pretty much every day.
I mean, people had a ton of fun just dueling each other, even though the classes were really not so well balanced back then. I don't know that they're still very well balanced. People, I think, more had the mentality that regardless of what the game lacked, it was what you made of it, you know?
Yep. I think the funny thing is about all this is that when Gameloft finally added endgame content, a lot of people left because they didn't want to pay $15 for gear. And after the first dungeon was released, we got some of the community back, but after they started failing on their teams because of not having rune gear, they actually quit again. And 2 more dungeons didn't really do anything to bring people back, and GameOff actually had to do a sale a few weeks ago, and that was probably to get more people to start buying runes again.
I also think some of those people that were, I believe me, I was leery to spend money on endgame gear. I just thought it was a fail idea, and I was totally against it, because what we all wanted in that first update was something for people at level cap to do, and that was just the complete opposite.
That was supposed to be Gameloft's idea of endgame content to hold us off, I guess. But really, paying $15 for the best gear in the game doesn't really provide endgame content. So I think a lot of people are pretty mad about that.
No, and I think, luckily, when we were all expressing our outrage at this, they did say, you know, we hear you and we will not do this again.
Yeah.
The gear will not be purchasable, which they haven't held totally true to that. I mean, they introduced the prints, and you have to spend like $15, $20. And I also think that they kind of salvaged the situation a little by making the rune gear reinforceable with the dungeon essence.
Yeah, I think that when we found out about reinforcing your rune gear, that people started to actually buy more of the rune gear because they felt like they'd be left out if they had all the level 60 green items instead of the gear that everyone has today. So that may have pressured them when the dungeons came out.
I mean, some, if not most classes can still get away with epic crafted chest and epic crafted pants, as opposed to the rune gear. I mean, personally, I think mage gear is a joke. My mage pretty much has noob gear, and I can clear all the dungeons. I have no problems.
Okay, so I think that the community has died down a lot, and it's a real shame because their personalities and competitive attitude made the game a lot more enjoyable. And the only way I see Gameloft bringing back a large portion of the players who quit is by offering free runes or something, and maybe giving us a PvP arena in the next month or 2.
Well, I think there's lulls between each update in the community, in the forums, in player activity, and I agree with you. If the next update just has another dungeon, then it could be the beginning of the end.
Although they did say for the last 2 dungeons that if we didn't get PvP arenas, then people would quit. But as some people on the forum have said, we still have some of the community that has said that they were going to quit if we got another dungeon. So I really think that they may not be completely truthful about quitting. They're just trying to pressure GameLoft into getting PvP arenas out.
Well, I've never said I would quit if the next update didn't have enhancements to PvP and such. But I feel like now we have these 3 dungeons, we have our full upgraded rune gear. It's like, where else can they go with dungeons from here?
Yeah, well, I've talked about this in past episodes, but there's always legendary gear.
Right.
Although they could make that with PvP arenas instead, where you can get legendary upgrades from getting, like, PvP arena points or something.
Yeah, like awards and such.
Yeah. I think that GameLoft needs to start listening to us, or the future of portable MMOs won't be so bright, because it will be looked at as a pay-to-play kind of thing. Anyone who doesn't pay is labeled as being a casual gamer.
Right, and that's the thing with a portable MMO is it, in my opinion, it should be a more casual level thing. It shouldn't be you're spending so much money a month to play this. I like their subscription rate. I think that's pretty fair. I don't care for how much and how quickly you can spending money in in-app purchases.
We're going to move on to the second question. What do you think about the forum community in terms of personality, creative ability, and trolling? This was something that you wanted me to talk about, and I think it's pretty interesting. I think that the forum is a really important part of the game. Most people who post on the forum care about the game and want to see it improve. It is also a way for people to share their thoughts not only with fellow players, but also with GameLoft. And I think there are about 4 different categories of personalities that I see on the forums. The first is people telling GameLoft a flaw in the game or a personal problem. People who post almost every day and give good opinions. People who make contests or do something creative, and trolls. Yeah. And I think if these 4 categories are balanced out, then it would be a much better forum than it is now.
Yeah, it's definitely heavy with complaints and trolls and people who like to start flame wars at the moment.
Yeah, the problem is that there are too many trolls and people stating flaws or spreading hate.
Yep.
And I think that this is partially the fault of GameLoft. I've actually been banned for trolling before, and yeah, you've probably seen why, but I fought it, but I think it was rightfully deserved because I was actually trolling and I was trying to get a rise out of GameLoft.
Right.
And I wish that GameLoft would enforce rules about trolling and hating more often, because after I was banned, I try to avoid it mostly.
Right.
But people who intentionally try to ruin the experience for others are also ruining the forum.
That starts with the game itself. GameLoft has created an unmoderated environment. And unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, this game has a younger player base because it's available for such a low price.
Yeah,
it's available
and
on low-cost equipment.
It's also age 9+, so little kids could be playing this, and there's no moderation for that.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out myself on the App Store, but I've heard that that age rating has been modified. I don't know the truth to it. I heard it in the forums, which would definitely be smart, being that there's no moderation. Which, I don't know if you heard this, but I heard some people in my server saying that they had received some messages, some actual yellow chat messages from a supposed moderator in Global or something like that.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that at all. You've actually seen that?
I haven't seen it myself, but some people said that they received these messages. I don't know if it's true or not. I think I've cursed in Global since just to find out if, and I didn't get anything. But
So they may have actually implemented moderation if this is...
They've been talking about it. I don't know.
I think that the people who beg Gameloft or blame them for a personal problem are also ruining the experience. A few weeks ago, we had people begging for epics and blaming...
It wasn't just begging, it was scamming.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's total fail on their part and Gameloft's part.
Yeah. And they were blaming Gameloft for losing them to a server glitch, which is actually a lie. And that caused a lot of anger on the forum. So I think what we need is more people making accounts and posting meaningful things instead of trolling.
Yeah, and that was my intent with my ONC fanfic contest.
Yeah, because
just to bring something meaningful back to the forums.
Yeah, like T-Weasel's Occupy Greenmont thing, your fanfic contest, and even me and Massively Portable's podcasts are really good.
Yeah.
So I'd actually like to see more of that stuff than just mindless spamming and trolling in the future. I'm a pretty avid forum goer, and I'm pretty much disappointed on a daily basis by the forums lately. I just don't. I personally don't understand what people get out of bashing everything everyone says. Yeah, maybe they get some sort of satisfaction out of it because they don't get satisfactions like that in real life. I guess maybe they think they're entertaining others. Yeah, maybe. But I really don't think I don't think anyone's entertained. Yeah. I think there's been a huge lull in communication. I mean, there's never been great communication from Gameloft, but as of late, there's been almost nothing, and I hardly see anything from mods. I actually didn't see anything until I think 2 days ago. Obicon and Helena moved a couple threads and made a few comments, but there's really been nothing, and I think that also causes the forums to suffer. Yeah, they haven't really posted that much in the past few weeks. I'm not sure what's going on there. I understand the holidays and everything, but the holidays are over now, and people need to get back to their jobs. So the third question is, what do you think about guilds? Why do you enjoy running or being in a guild? I think guilds are one of the most important aspects of the game. Absolutely. They make it more than just an RPG where you have stuff to do when you're bored and your guild is there to help. And if Gameloft hadn't introduced guilds on day one, I think the game would probably be dead by now. Absolutely. With a guild, you can find dungeon teams, you can PvP against other guilds, and you can get help on crafting or leveling up. I'm on the Arcadian Forest server, so guilds are a lot bigger typically than I've seen on your server. When I started playing, people didn't really care about what class or level you were, so I got accepted into pretty much any guild at first. Yep, and even my guild, we took anybody at first. Yeah. And after many got to level 60, people only wanted level 60 elite guilds with epic armor and rare weapons. And now it's gone so far that people only want level 60 monks and mages mostly, with at least 4 epic rune gear pieces. Oh wow. And being a monk, it's easy for me to get into a fun guild, but my warrior doesn't really get accepted into guilds often because I just have the standard rune gear. My guild's never been focused on gear or PvP kills or dungeon runs or anything like that. Our emphasis has always been on just friendship and like a family atmosphere. I mean, I think that's why Reign of Chaos is, I'm pretty sure, the oldest guild on our server. I mean, the way we keep out the unwanted is we have a pretty extensive application process, and people really have to make an effort. And what we want to see is someone who is interested in helping the guild. We've implemented an age limit. We won't take anyone under 23. I mean, there's always exceptions, and we have younger members. But on average, we're a more mature guild. I think 25 to 35 is our average age. And we have families. We have people with real-life friends, co-workers in the guild. And, I mean, that's just always been our focus. And
think it's why we have been a strong guild and have been around as long as we have. I mean, I see quote-unquote dungeon-running guilds or quote-unquote elite guilds, and I don't think they attract personalities that necessarily mesh well together.
I was actually the leader of a guild with 240 members called Last Stand, and it was really fun. I met a lot of people, and we worked hard on getting members and just tried to make the game more fun for everyone.
Yeah.
We accepted level 45 and up mostly, and some of our members liked helping the lower levels level up. And we were mainly a PvP guild, and we PvP'd in Vegas Square because that's the big thing in Arcadian Forest server.
Yeah. Have you done much PvP at the Prince?
Yeah, I have.
Way more fun, I think.
The problem with that is when people try to glitch the Prince or they have untagged monks.
Yeah, we're plagued by that also.
And also I find myself getting sniped by archers a lot.
My main's a ranger, so
yeah.
I know. It's fun, but it's really, not so much fun for you guys.
It's really annoying walking back every time.
Yeah. And that's where I've spent, it's only one rune to rise at the Prince, but I'm pretty sure that's where I've spent 90% of my in-game purchase is runing at the Prince.
In my guild, we also helped people get drops in dungeons, craft, and we had daily giveaways and weekly tournaments, which were really fun.
Yeah, one thing that one of my members, Lisa, just started is we have a guild bank. And she just started a contest where you get an entry into a giveaway for either 100 gold or a general symbol or something once a week by sending in 5 stacks of whatever the bank needs that week.
Wow, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome on her part. It benefits the guild, and it's something fun for guildies to look forward to every week. And the response has actually been really well.
I think it would be nice if Gameloft actually implemented a guild bank system into the game.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of like you guys having to make a separate guild for that. But we're working with what we have, so that's really nice that you guys would.
Yeah, I mean, we have 2 accounts just for the bank. It's funny. I just started the bank about, I think, 2 months ago, and the 4 main bank tunes I named materials, armor, weapons, and I can't remember. I quickly discovered that materials was not going to have enough space for all the materials, so that one actually has 4 subtunes for each class of materials.
Oh, nice.
Officers that manage the bank, and it works out really well, and it definitely benefits the entire guild.
Yeah, I think that would be really good if more guilds started doing that until guild banks are implemented, if they are implemented.
Yeah.
Back to my guild. It was actually hacked along with like 3 other guilds. When it was hacked, it was actually disbanded. And for some reason, one of my guildies said that when it was disbanded, my character was offline. So somehow the hacker...
They did it without the Guildmaster being logged on?
Yeah, I'm really not sure how they did that. And I think other guilds like Serenity, Void, and Eternity on my server were disbanded as well that week.
Yeah, when all that was happening, I actually passed leadership to one of my alts that a lot of people don't know. And I think at one time I demoted all my officers just so there was that much less people with any power to do anything in the guild. Yeah. It got pretty scary for a while there.
The 4th question is, what are your hopes for Ordering Chaos, World of Midgard, and any iOS MMOs in general for 2012? I've talked about future hopes on previous episodes for Ordering Chaos, but not really for MMOs in general. So let me start with Ordering Chaos.
Okay.
I hope that in 2012 the devs add PvP arenas that are actually fun and worthwhile, new dungeons that are challenging, equalization for all the classes so that PvP is fair, in-game moderation as we talked about, and better customer service, And maybe in a few months we could have a level increase, but that's not really a main priority. And we're nearing the 1-year anniversary of Order and Chaos, so I want it to be thought of as a good year instead of a year of bad moderation and not a lot of content updates.
Yeah, it'd definitely be nice for it to see it end on a good note. And moving forward, hopefully. I mean, my hope, I really feel like arenas and something for PvP needs to be in the next update. Or I really think player base will drop off a lot worse than it already has. I mean, at this point, we have all this gear that we've earned. We need something to do with it, you know?
Yep.
Other than run more dungeons. As far as balancing the classes, like I see a lot of people complaining about snipe, which I have to agree on, but if they nerf snipe, I feel like all classes damage levels need to be nerfed. It's a damage to player HP ratio is messed up. That's the problem.
Yeah, like on the forum, I think a month ago or something, someone posted a screenshot of a duel with a monk, and they had the Sensaya crossbow, and they one-shotted the monk in the duel with snipe. So either some of the archer's abilities need to be nerfed, or at least the Sensaya crossbow, because that is really overpowered right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've heard of 5,000 snipes with that thing. I don't know I don't know if it's true, or it might be with someone using all the rune buffs, all the level scrolls, and then all the stacked monk buffs. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
which is a lot of work to go through. Just until you either die or for 30 minutes. Even unbuffed, I think the Sensaya is a little overpowered. And, I mean, actually, like I said, I think the root problem is that the ratio to max damage and character HP is off balance at the moment. PvP's never been my main focus, and nor has dungeons. My things, I've been a farmer, and I like world PvE, and so I'd really like to see some worthwhile world PvE, like farming and some gear that's worth having that you can get from world PvE.
I think that a lot of people would actually like to see battlegrounds instead of PvP arenas, because battlegrounds actually have an objective.
Right, and there's a PvE aspect to it.
Yeah, because there could be obstacles along the way, like maybe mobs.
Right.
And I guess the Shadow Prince is kind of like that, but it's not really dedicated battlegrounds.
And it's so exploitable.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just kind of ruined at this point, and they haven't fixed it.
Yeah. So I think that honestly, Gameloft should try to fix a lot of the problems that the game has now, but at the same time they need to be adding some content updates.
Yeah, they need to move forward as well.
Yeah, people are getting impatient.
Yeah, and it's time for an update from them pretty quick here too, I think.
Yeah.
As far as like what's coming, I mean, at least telling us something, on the forums, like give us a teaser here pretty soon.
Yeah.
I mean, the Christmas update was meh.
It was fun for like 3 days, maybe.
Yeah. On my server, it's Chinese camping chests, and then they hold every chest. I think they're holding like every chest they loot.
Wow.
To make people think there's epics in there, and they stand around and watch everybody try to loot it, and I think they're sitting there laughing their asses off.
Yeah. There's been no confirmation of epics in chests anyways. That could all be BS.
I looted a bloody claw from a chest.
Oh, you actually did?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I guess it's true then.
Yeah. I mean, if you believe me.
Yeah.
I looted a bloody claw, and I have guildies that... one of my guildies has looted like 2 or 3 epics. Tiliana looted... I actually paid someone 1,000 gold. A chest had the heal dagger in it.
Wow.
And they actually, rather than scamming us, she actually got the dagger. So,
yeah, I haven't heard a lot about that on our server. I know that someone posted on the forums a few weeks ago that there were epics, but there wasn't really any proof on that, so I guess it is actually real.
Yeah. Which, I mean, there's opinions on that too. Epics from a chest is kind of lame.
Yeah, I think that maybe kind of unfair to the people who run dungeons all the time.
Yeah.
But the people who spend tons of money to go in the dungeons to actually try to get epics, most of the time they don't even get the epics.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter at this point if it's in a chest or if it's really hard to get in a dungeon.
Yeah, and it doesn't. Another way to look at the epics and chest thing is, you know, it is a portable MMO, and there's casual players, and it's nice that they have a chance to get something nice, you know, and that they don't need. Not everybody has time to run dungeons 5-10 times a day. Not everybody even enjoys running dungeons.
I don't actually really see why they added the epics to the chests, because GameLoft isn't really making any money off of it anyways.
Yeah, they're making no money off that. I'm not sure.
But people may have been quitting because they weren't getting epics.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe casual players were quitting because they felt like they didn't have a chance.
Yeah, and also maybe they wanted to stop people from scamming epics from GameLoft, and that's why they put them in the chests. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could be maybe to increase the level of epics out there so that it's not...
Yeah, so that people don't want to scam them.
Exactly. One more thing I wanted was a new world map, maybe like an ice map, I think would be really cool.
Yeah, that would definitely be cool, and they already said that they were going to add a new level cap and maybe a new area.
Oh, they have said that?
Yeah, I remember them saying it a few months ago, I'm not sure. But they haven't really given any information on that.
Yeah, I would imagine that's probably pretty far out.
Yeah, and definitely they need to start listening to what we say first so that they can make some of the players happy before they add in new content that they already originally intended to add.
Yeah, more new content with more bugs.
Probably. I don't really know a lot about World of Midgard, but I've seen some of the gameplay videos, and the devs look like they're working really hard to make it a better game than Order and Chaos. I will definitely be playing it and talking about it on this show, but my hopes are that there isn't a lot to buy other than like a monthly subscription, and I hope that the graphics improve and the character movement improves, because right now it looks kind of awkward. That,
and I think the user interface leaves a lot to be desired at the moment, which I from my understanding, that's easily polishable, and it is actually like a pre-beta level right now. They're calling it beta, but I really think it's more of a pre-beta. Their plans are to release the true public beta on the App Store as an app called Faction Wars.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
And I think that'll be like the true beta. I'm in the beta. I've played it a little bit. I think it was the second beta. I just really didn't find there was a lot to do. And I really wasn't interested in getting that involved as far as running around, finding the few things you could do and reporting the bugs. I understand that's how the game gets better, but with my real life, I just didn't have time for that level of commitment. One thing that I do see from World of Midgard is that the developers are really conscious about the community, and they really listen to the community. I'm concerned, maybe to a fault they are. They need to be worrying about making money themselves, and they also need to worry about making money to make the game better, you know?
Yeah.
I really have no idea what their plans are. Have enough emphasis towards that level. One other thing about World of Midgard, it's faction-based. Fury and...
I think it's Alliance.
Alliance, yeah, which will be interesting to see how that's going to work in a portable MMO.
They actually just announced that they were delaying the beta 3 for like
7 days.
Yeah, and I think some people were upset about it, but it's actually really good because it's showing that they want to get the bugs fixed before people start playing it.
Yeah, what they're basically saying is we know some bugs. They've got I can't remember how many people they said playing it between betas. I think, and it's not many, like a dozen or maybe 20 people playing it between betas and really doing an awesome job reporting bugs. That's like their job, what they're doing.
Yep.
And they just basically said, they've reported all these bugs to us, and we really want to get them fixed before we actually do release this next beta, which I think is a smart move on their part also.
One good thing about Faction Wars is that everyone can play it, even if you don't buy the, I think it's now $20 Dragon Mount.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was $10, and that last post I saw was that they were almost out of them at the pre-allotted amount for $10, and it would be going up to $20 after that. I don't know if they did completely run out yet or not.
I don't really understand how they could run out of virtual pets, though.
Well, it's not. It's just they pre-allotted X amount for $10 as an incentive for people to buy them. Mm-hmm. And I think they figured if they got that many purchases, then at that point anything else was extra, so they could increase the price at that point. And I mean, also obviously, if they had that many purchases, they probably felt like there was enough interest that they could charge more, probably. Yeah. Which kind of contradicts what I said about them, whether or not they're concerned enough about making money and having the assets to improve the game, which maybe I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, Faction Wars is actually going to have all of your in-game data that you get from it, and it's going to go over into World of Midgard when that comes out. And
yes, anything you buy in Faction Wars will carry over, is my understanding.
Yeah, I think also your level carries over, but I'm not completely sure about that. If you don't buy the Dragon Mount, you can actually pay a subscription instead.
My understanding was that the app would be free.
Yeah.
And if you purchased the Dragon Mount and were already in the betas, the entire beta game would be open to you. And if you hadn't, you'd only have access to the quote-unquote starting area, and the portals would be locked. Mm-hmm. But you could pay something like $5 to unlock it.
Oh, it's okay. So that would be actually less than the Dragon Mount is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's on a subscription base or if it's just a one-time price.
I think that's going to be a one-time in-app purchase.
Alright. Well, I mean, I want to play Faction Wars so that I can kind of get an idea of what World of Midgard's going to be.
Yeah, I want to get in there and start my guild over there and get things set for people who are going to be coming over.
Yeah. And I think that game is supposed to come out in February, and so basically anyone can play it as long as they bought the Dragon Mount or they bought the one-time price thing. So that'll probably get a lot of people to start playing it. But I'm not really sure how they're gonna make enough money for the future.
That's my concern as well.
Yeah, because I think they said that the game's gonna be free for the final release.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not in a subscription base, then they may not make enough money unless they made enough money from the Dragon Mounts or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather see them charge $5 for the app and have thousands of people download it on day one and have the assets to improve the game going forward. Beyond that, I'm hoping that the subscription will actually be a little more expensive than Order and Chaos, and the amount and the desire for players to use in-app purchases will be less.
Yeah, definitely. Because we don't want another Rune Gear situation.
Yeah, exactly.
So, to sum it up, my hopes for World of Midgard are that the game world is fun, and it's something that I want to come back to, like Order and Chaos is. Dungeons and PvP arenas are worthwhile and not just put together. And that the mods try to improve the game and fix any bugs that arise, pretty much.
And I mean, I know they're going to be in the game, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'll be playing both Order and Chaos and World of Midgard, so I can talk about them on the show. But I won't be choosing just one. Order and Chaos has kept me interested for the past, I think, 8 months. Yeah. And I hope it stays that way. I want World of Midgard to be just as fun, if not funner. And my hopes for iOS MMOs in general for this year are that more people find out about them and they just improve throughout the year. And I think it's going to be a big year for MMOs on mobile devices because of Gameloft and Viraxen. That's the company that makes World of Midgard.
Yeah.
Because they're both going to hopefully be competing it with each other and making their games better than the other constantly.
Yeah, and I mean, regardless of what everyone thinks and says about Gameloft and Order and Chaos, it was the first mobile MMO, and I think they set the foundation pretty well.
Well, it was the first successful iPhone MMO, pretty much, because there's other ones like Celtic Heroes.
Yeah.
But those aren't really, they don't have a large player base, and they aren't updated frequently.
Right.
So I hope that this year will bring more interest to the platform if Viraxen and Gameloft are competing against each other.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see something from Blizzard or something from EA. That'd be pretty cool. I think they could both do an awesome job.
That'd probably take a lot longer to develop, but hopefully Order and Chaos and World of Midgard are bringing inspiration to those companies so that maybe eventually they can release something like that.
I mean, hopefully they can see that there's a market to be had there and it's worth their while. I mean, I don't know if Blizzard makes any mobile games right now. I know EA has a lot of mobile games. Mm-hmm. Nothing, no MMOs at the moment though. So I'd be really surprised if we didn't see something starting in the works from EA at the very least, as far as a mobile MMO.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. The final question is a little more about World of Midgard. The question is, what do you think of World of Midgard so far? You said that you played the second beta, so how do you think the upcoming third beta will change, do you think?
I'm thinking that the graphics are going to be a lot more polished. Mm-hmm. One thing that I've not been a huge fan of World of Midgard is it has a little bit more of a cartoony feeling. Yeah. Which I know a lot of people who are diehard MMO players actually might like that, because I guess World of Warcraft is a little bit more cartoony. Order and Chaos is my first MMO that I've ever played, so I don't have that experience to go on. But other players when I've said that I didn't like the cartoony feel of it, they've been adamantly against me, saying that they actually like that. So maybe I'm in the minority there. Yeah. But I actually like the graphics of Order and Chaos. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that with the graphics being more polished, I'll like it more. The drag mounts don't fly.
They don't?
Everybody, no, they kind of glide along the ground. Oh. See, I could care less about mounts and stuff personally, but other people want to see those mounts soaring through the air. Like I mentioned, the user interface is kind of like Windows 93 looking. Yeah. It's very square and not visually appealing.
Well, it is an indie company, so you can't really expect much right now.
Yeah, and it's also pre-beta, so it can get a lot better.
And in the case of Order and Chaos, they already had the engine down from their other games, right. So it was a lot easier to make the game, and I think they just copied a lot of the skins from World of Warcraft. So they didn't really put a lot of effort into it, but still we enjoy the game a lot because the world looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
And the character movement looks a lot more realistic than World of Midgard has looked from what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, when I played the second beta, it kind of looked like you were walking in place and then gliding along, you know? I mean, whereas Order and Chaos, it really, like, the other day I was just noticing how closely the footstep sounds matches your running and things like that. It's just, like you said, the graphics are pretty polished in Order and Chaos.
It'll be interesting to see how Faction Wars runs on the iPhone and iPad, because so far in the betas, people have been playing on their computers.
Yeah, and it's been pretty processor intensive as well. Which, I mean, I'm not a computer guy, but I guess maybe that could be because it's beta. It's going to be on these devices, so I'm assuming that they are planning as such. From what I read, I thought the third beta was going to be Faction Wars, and that it was going to be coming out the 10th.
Yeah.
But I was discussing it with a guildie, and he's like, no, the third beta is going to be on PC and Android, I guess. I guess Android gets it because it's easier for them to release a beta to them.
Oh, so it's actually not going to be on the iPhone, the third beta?
No, the third beta is not going to be Faction Wars, and it's not going to be on iOS.
So we're all going to find out at the same time what it's like.
Android users are going to see what it's like. The third beta, from my understanding, is that the third beta is going to be on Android.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get it till, when I say we, I mean iOS isn't going to get it till Faction Wars is released on the App Store in
probably February
or March, I think it was. So I was kind of disappointed when I saw that. I thought I had something I'd be able to play on my iPad here in a couple of days, but I guess not.
Yeah. So, do you have any other thoughts on World of Midgard?
Like I said, this Order and Chaos being my first MMO, I'm curious. I really have no idea how a faction-based game will work. So I'm curious to see how they're gonna pull that off in a mobile MMO. Like, are there gonna be is Fury gonna have their land and Alliance is gonna have their land, and you can go invade things like that? I mean, it'll just be really cool to see, I think.
Yeah, the first day of Order and Chaos, I think a lot of people were expecting there to be like more faction based.
Yeah, I mean the name of the game is kind of misleading.
Yeah, it's Order and Chaos, so I mean
you expect to be able to play on the Order side or the Chaos side. And I mean, even some of the things, the like forum mods and some of the pop-ups we got were kind of misleading. They'd say, come try Order and Chaos, fight for Order, or bring Chaos or defend Order or something like that. It's like, there's really none of that in the game.
The only faction thing that occurred in Order and Chaos was the starting zone, and you could either start in the Tanland or
Fallen Leaf.
Yeah, so I mean they haven't really done anything to make factions, so it'll be pretty interesting to see what World of Midgard does with that.
Yeah, and I mean we've kind of created our own factions in Order and Chaos, I think, with guilds and such.
Yeah.
Like, you've got Get in the Van, that's this evil villain guild, and we had Hellraisers on Whispering Island server that was a pretty good villain guild back in the day. They're not around anymore, but there's been some others to try and fill their place.
Yeah, it's basically the same idea of just working with what we have in Order and Chaos.
Right, which is something I actually like to see. I kind of like the aspect of the game that they leave something for the players to make of it, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's cool, and I think it helps strengthen the community.
Or it could just be laziness.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying that they did it intentionally, but I just think it's cool that the community kind of comes together to fill those gaps.
So I guess when people are deciding between Order and Chaos and World of Midgard, they'll have to decide if they want to play a game that has all the stuff already there, or if they want to play a game where you basically make it whatever you want. So.
Right, and the community's already there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just talking with my guild, a lot of people are interested in World of Midgard, but also a lot of people are like, no, I'm going to stick with Order and Chaos. I like Order and Chaos. So
yeah.
I plan on playing both.
Yeah, me as well.
At least in the beginning. I mean, hopefully I'll find that World of Midgard's really cool, and I still don't see myself dropping Order and Chaos completely. I think it'll be cool to have two places to go, but if World of Midgard does turn out to be that really epic, then who knows what will happen.
I just really hope that Gameloft doesn't end up abandoning Order and Chaos, because they actually closed down the Facebook version.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they're not just going to give up on it because another game came out. I want them to keep improving on it and adding updates.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely want to see them keep following through with ordering chaos. And I mean, that's one thing that kind of gets me a little worried as far as the forum and the lack of information from Gameloft and the lack of moderators' participation as of late.
Yep.
Is it just a lull between updates, or is there more to read into that? I don't know.
Yeah. So that's the episode for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I want to thank you, Opus, for coming on the show today.
I was a little nervous, but I think it was pretty cool.
We discussed some really good topics and went into a lot of different things. You may be able to come on future episodes.